So, this is it. And this time it's a best of 5. Means that Reynor doesn't have to play Purity in the Industry as map number 2. As we have to the top right-hand side, our red Zerg player. Give it up if you're cheering on from Clash, the Italian wonder kid, Reynor. And in the bottom left-hand side, the French wonder kid, playing Terran in the blue from Team Liquid, it's Clem. Hey, Vara91, thank you so much for the 2,000 bits. Says Cool Body back with the brand new look. Nice. Thank you so much for the 2,000 bits. Much appreciated, dude. Guys, let's get some hype in here. These guys have played amazing games. If you didn't see the Reynor Clem Grand Final from the We Sold Out Invitational on Wednesday, you need to check that out. That is up on my YouTube, youtube.com/WardiTV. And it is such a good best of 7 Grand Final. It was amazing. And if this series is like 60-70% as good as that, you guys are going to be wowed. So let's hope for at least that, if not 100% of what that grand final the other day was, because that was great. Let's get some hype in here. Let's get your friends in. Tell your moms, tell your dads, be like, hey, you bored? You're sick of sitting in the house? Watch some StarCraft. These two kids are going to go at each other as we get ready to go into game number 1 of the best of 5. Hatch, Gas, and Pool, of course, from Reynor, and of course on the Clem side, a Reaper base expansion. They're not going to do much crazy here right away. Now we're starting on Everdream, and Clem has played a mix of bio and mech lately in TvZ, so that's something to watch out for as well. This map, I think, is actually very good for bio pushes, though, because this central area is very hard to break as a Zerg, because it's so narrow. And there are a few run-by potentials, but they all end up in basically the same places. Wherever you come around the top, you end up run-bying here, or down this ramp into this space, or you come down the bottom and you come through this pathway here, right? Like, there's not a lot of variety for run-by, so you should be able to keep a pretty good check on them and shut them down fairly easily throughout the course of the game. So, a lot to keep in mind there as to how Reynor might want to approach this game as well. And, you know, that sort of stuff sort of says to Clem, well, actually, maybe I can play bio a little bit more easily here than on some of the other maps, such as Eternal Empire. That's a map where a lot of people have been saying, oh, mech, you know, that sounds like a lot of fun. Now, Clem loves the idea of forcing Reynor into a bad third hatchery position, so you will SCV block third base in the early stages of this game. As the Reaper comes out, it will just go and check to see if this base was taken already. The answer is not just yet. As we do have the couple of Queens continuing forwards here, and the Reaper taking some damage, will have to be backing away for a couple of moments. Those few Lings of Reynor down the right-hand side, and the SCV still blocking, of course. If the Reaper can help out with that, then amazing, as he will come through. No damage on the drone. He actually gets the SCV away and blocks a little bit longer. Comes around the side. Nelly has the final shot. He'll get it. No, he won't. Extractor comes back. He'll get it this time round, though. And the Reaper kills the drone to start Clem off in a nice little setup here. Delayed third hatchery. Drone goes down. He's going to get a Zergling kill if he can target fire it. He's going to take some damage from the Queen, though, and the Reaper will die. Reynor's already invested into Overlord speed, though, so there's not too much for this Reaper to be scouting. And the Hellions are already coming across here to set up as well. In fact, these Hellions are going to be running by, saying, I know those Zerglings are low. And he's going to get into the main. He fires a couple shots on Queens, which slowed him down. Otherwise, he might have already been through here. How many drones is he going to get to for the moment? Is that it? 2 drones is not really worth the couple of Hellions. You know, it's just not quite worthwhile. I think you're happy to kind of keep the Hellion count low, quite frankly, as Reynor in this scenario. So he's probably pretty happy with that, as you see these 2 Hellions coming back across towards the natural. These 2 will not dive by, right? Don't prove me wrong, Clem, because if they do, they're just going to be in so much trouble so quickly. It's just not worthwhile, as we see the creep teamer at the front gets taken down. Stim pack on the way from Clem, and a starport that finished up behind this built a Liberator. So that pretty typical just Hellion Liberator into bio play from Clem is going to be playing bio on this first map, and we'll see what Reynor wants to do. A map where, I mean, a lot of Ling Bane Muta styles are very popular now, as these Lings do catch 2 more Hellions. So Ling Bane Muta is quite popular, but also the Ling Bane Hydra can kind of work on this map because of this more open area to push into that central base. And because of the Terrans pushing power through the center of the map as well, sometimes Hydras can help to hold that off. So we'll keep an eye on what Reynor chooses to do as a compositional choice shortly. Right now, there's Lib showing up, though. Queen's not responding. Drone's a little slow to pull away. And obviously now the Liberator will unsiege, reposition, and try and deal more damage. Clem ended up building 8 Hellions then, but to build 8 Hellions and to only have 4 on the map is a little bit sad, because 2 more Hellions slows down your barracks by those extra 200 minerals, which is kind of a big deal. It slows down your engineering base by those 200 minerals. And then usually you get the presence of more Hellions on the map. Maybe they power up your push a little bit, or they dive by for more drones. So far, he's just lost 4 of those 8 Hellions, getting surrounded by Zerglings and 4 drone or 2 here or there. So it's not been the greatest of setup just yet from Clem in that sort of regard. That's one thing that's definitely gone well for Reynor early, as this Liberator comes in for its 2nd kill of the game. And these Hellions are still just trying to poke through for a drone here or there. He's literally just happy with 1 drone at a time right now. And we're going to be seeing the Hellions wanting to come back around into the center, and the melee upgrades continuing up from Reynor on the 3rd hatchery. So getting that melee upgrades up and running. And look at this, the upgrades from the Zerg are pretty much on time with the Terra. Now, that said, Reynor has not gone into a lair just yet. He's not got a Bane Nest just yet, so that's why those upgrades are pretty quick as well. He goes into them quickly. But considering there was a couple of slowdowns from Clem early game, the upgrade should still be a bit further ahead from him in this scenario. But again, they're not, because he went 8 Hellions and that slowed them down. So now the Bane Nest comes up and this lair does start as well. And these few Hellions do at least get an active creep tumor at the front. So Clem able to get the kill there. Just going to be seeing the Queens coming back through, and another creep tumor. Nice to get rid of. Obviously, creep tumors can't cancel anymore. So a kill is a kill once you're going to get it, and it's going to go down. And that's a nice thing to get rid of. The rest of those Zerglings coming down the bottom side into the middle of the map. Reynor setting up as well. Going to be seeing this orbital command producing a few extra SCVs. Pumping out some economy for this 3rd base. As Marines come down, Overlord will be taken away. And again, these Queens continue to press forwards and putting down some creep tumors. So a little bit of creep spread coming down, as we do have another creep tumor in the center. More creep at the top. Baneling Nest coming into play from Reynor in the back of the 3rd base. Again, that up and running. Nice depot block just in time to stop these Lings getting through. And guess who are here? It's the Hellions. He'll cancel those depots low HP. Actually didn't need them just yet, so not the biggest cancel in the world. As he actually brought the tanks and the Marines across the map, Clem, to try and deal some extra damage here. He's already going to find 1 drone off over to the side. 2 tanks from Clem coming up, and they will get themselves siege behind these couple of geysers. So they can siege up there. Lings continuing to move around a little bit. Creep tumors starting to drop. Hellbats that are coming along are a little bit out of position, but not bad so far. The Council of 4th base, now he's just a little bit of high ground vision away from actually killing off an Extractor as well. As we're going to be seeing the Spire on the back of the 3rd base, so there's a lot of creep spread comes out the front. We're going to be seeing the tanks. Oh, there's the scan. Actually does just get that Extractor. And again, Spire on the way to move into Mutalisks, but they are not ready yet. So this is just pure Bane to try and bust through. The thing is, Clem's just going to lift and leave with so much of this. Is Reynor waiting for Baneling speed before he commits? His Queens go a bit too far forwards, though, and that's a mistake. By the way, this Liberator is still just chilling, waiting to be used once again. So keep your eyes out for that, because, well, there you go. It's just going to move forwards right now. Going to come straight in and get a couple more drones as Clem also pushes forwards to try and get some more damage. And this time, Reynor's not really realizing it, so keeping that Liberator alive for so long earlier in the game now results in 6 extra kills and a reposition, because Clem's still staying active. He's going to drop up into the 3rd base as well, and Clem just won't leave Reynor alone right now. The natural expansion is just not allowed to mind. The Liberator play is phenomenal, continuing to move it around every time the Marines lift back up, and Clem is playing out of his mind right now. This is actually crazy. He's going to get 10 drones in the end of the Liberator play. Reinforcements in the center, though, are stuck. How did the Banelings not go in for those? Too scared of the siege tanks as he backs off. And Clem putting some amazing pressure on this 3rd base, in some trouble. Reinforcements, that's the one thing, right? Reinforcements aren't able to join up, so it's 2 smaller armies, but all of these units are in positions that are horrible for Reynor to fight into. As Mutas arrive, he's going to finally commit to the fight, and Reynor will come in, and it's no surprise to see this going down. But the efficiency Clem found on this army was already crazy. It created opportunities for the Liberator in the natural expansion. Just phenomenal play from Clem, who's rightly so got a 25 supply lead in the game right now, because he's just been able to do so much. I've not even looked back at the Terran space, but he's already got drilling claws. He's adding Thors in now against the Mutalisks, so these Widow Mines are scary, and Reynor's trying to send some units forward to set off those Widow Mines. He's just not getting them. Those Widow Mines are still here. He's lost so many Lings trying to send them forwards already. The pre-splits from Clem are beautiful. A Widow Mine shot to take down a few Zerglings. Now the Ling Bane will continue forwards. The Mutalisks back onto those medevacs. A bit of back and forth continuing up from Clem's army. 4 Widow Mines of Clem going to load up and move across through the bottom side over to the far right. Mutalisks might be able to intercept this, though, and that would be a small win for Reynor. Try and bring some of this momentum back in his favor. Just stop Clem being all over the map. And of course, if those Mutas can then slow Clem down by dealing some damage in the main, etc., that would be great too, as I mean, this forward fourth base doesn't exactly look pretty right now. It looks like it's in some real trouble. Thor going to come in and not enough Mutalisks to really just fight that straight up. Not with Medevac Micro available. And reinforcements obviously popping out. New Mutas spawn straight into this as well. And that's painful as Reynor's fourth base is down and dead. Mutas will loop back around. They'll find the tank in the center of the map. Clem is going to send a few Marines over to try and deal with that. I mean, the tank being lost is not the biggest of deals because he's not playing a tank-based composition. He's gone into Widow Mines. The tank was a nice little extra to still have, but it had already played its role in this game. As we're going to be seeing these missile turret shots going off on the Mutalisks as well. The Siege Tank, he's just going to rebel. He's going to shoot down these depots. Widow Mine gets burrowed, and that's a connection. It is indeed. I thought maybe the Mutas had just escaped away, but Clem still rolling 40 supply ahead at the moment. Coming across the map, I mean, a lot of units coming over. Creep spread that can be scanned and cleaned out as well. Ling Bane coming through from Reynor. Thor drops down. Bio units spreading out a little bit. These Zerglings having to pull back as well. The rest of this bio still just trying to get set up at the moment. Lings, Banes, and Mutas coming through. The few creep shimmers setting up, and a lot of this creep being cleaned out. A lot of the kills going down at the moment. Widow Mine not able to connect just yet. Still pressing through the center here. A couple of Marauders going out into the front. The Thor shots are good onto the Mutalisks. Meanwhile, Lings are going to go across the map. That's a counter, not a surround. I mean, if they get turned away, it can turn into a surround on the rest of this army. But I'm not sure how effective a surround. No, don't stop there! Widow Mine gets 10 of them. And the Zergling count takes a hit again as Clem maxed out. Sends two Marauders split up into Banelings. Absolute mayhem as our Thor continues to press on forwards. Getting some shots on the Mutalisks. The Ling Bane still unable to do much at the moment. 3-3 upgrades on the way from Clem just in case Reynor's not already in a bit too much trouble. This one Thor is left alone. I'm not sure what he did to be left and sent out on his own. The Lings, though, I mean, there's still a few of them going down. It's obviously a nice snipe on the Thor as Clem takes the 5th base. I mean, like I say, it's all been on the map. It's all been about Clem. Back at home, he's got a 4th base already at Planetary. Now he's taking a 5th base. Just Reynor's put zero pressure on the other side because he's had no opportunity to. Clem's controlled this game from the very start. Some good pushes, some good trades and positions. And now he's just going to keep trading out, and Reynor should not be able to really keep up with this. Not when he's had so much difficulties, and Clem's got such a strong economy of his own. Maybe if these Mutas start to do some really crazy amounts of damage, but this is just an oversight from Clem. Probably even forgot about the Mutalisks as a realistic threat in this game because he cleaned out so many before. And again, I mean, he's taking his way towards 3-3 upgrades too, and that's only going to help further. He's now getting some Liberators up, which will help against the Mutas and be a good, setup against a potential transition if Reynor can somehow afford a Hive and in towards an Ultra's Cavern. I'm just going to see these couple of Widow Mines might get underneath him, and Reynor's not paying attention because of this fight. The Widow Mines will go off, and they do to get a couple more Mutas. I mean, Clem just has so many Medevacs personally healing up Marauders as Balins connect in. Zerglings can't get the kills right now through those armored units. The healing just a bit too much. Now the Muta's going to come back home as well. But the Liberator coverage is even crazy. 19 SCVs have fallen, so definitely something that goes a bit more in Reynor's favor. And as he cleans out this army, okay, great. You've bought yourself finally a bit of breathing room, but it feels like this has been non-stop for 6 or 7 minutes, where Clem has been on the front lines, Clem has been attacking, and as Reynor, you've just been constantly having to run away, peel back, and trying to get out of there. Liberators building right now. As we do see that count getting higher, it makes the Mutalisk count really just horrible in fights because he's on the great fighting unit anyways, and when these Liberators are going to start killing them really quickly with the splash damage, it just means you can't even bring the Mutas into the fight because then the Liberators are just going to kill them, then they siege up afterwards. Again, Clem maybe actually has almost too many Medevacs. Well, it doesn't seem to matter. He's just not even losing bio units on the ground. It feels like there's barely any bio here, and it's still causing so much chaos. It's going to be seeing these Libs continue to fight. These Mutas trying to find a way in, but Reynor, he's had enough of being beaten up, and he's going to type out GG to give Clem a first map of this best of 3. Let's do this. Game number 2. As we kick off in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player who leads this series 1-0 in the best of 5, representing Team Liquid in the bottom left-hand corner. This is Clem. In the upper right-hand side, our red Zerg. This is Reynor, representing Clash. As we go into Eternal Empire. Now, Eternal Empire, I actually brought up in the start of the last series where it's like, there is a map where more people play mech on, it's not a map you have to play mech on. It still has good opportunities for buy. You can still harass all over the place, etc. You still have a good push into a 4th/5th base of the Zerg player. But if Clem wants to switch it up in this finals, it's really a good map to play mech on. There's a couple maps that are better to play mech on, I'd say, than others, and just because bio is stronger than on others as well, right? And like I say, maybe we see that changing up a little bit here. I guess we'll find out. I will mention that shout out though. Here Marine raiding us with 894 people, which means we got just over 1,000 new people in here. Welcome to this grand final of the ESL Open Cup number 13. Clem just won a pretty awesome game 1 against Reynor, and now going into this game number 2. Welcome everybody, and well, hope you guys are having a good stream. That's crazy. That might push us over 5,000 viewers, which is pretty insane to say the least. As we said on up, there's nothing out of the ordinary for either player, of course. The hatchery, gas, and pool is a very standard setup. The Reaper expand, very normal-esque and very similar to the last game. Clem will SCV scout on this map as well, because it is one of those maps where you can basically, where's the Zerg meant to take a 3rd base otherwise? And Reynor actually takes a super fast 3rd hatchery to work around that. So he says, you're not going to SCV, but look at Clem. He's just like, oh, 3rd hatchery, cool. I'll just go back home. That's the only reason this SCV is coming across the map. So wants to try and block that hatchery. Is not able to, of course. And so Clem just brings it back. Like I say, it's one of these maps. If you don't take this base, where do you go? You can't take this base because a Liberator denies these mineral patches without being in range of a queen, without lib range. So then do you take your 3rd base? No, of course you don't. So Reynor just goes very early 3rd hatchery to give him coverage there and give him some protection, as we do see these few Zerglings starting to be in some trouble. Reaper comes right in to fight them. And again, getting damage on the Lings is really nice because it creates opportunities for you to realistically come down and, well, deny the creep tumor, but I guess if the Reaper's in the main base, the creep tumor can come down without any worries, as the Reaper does find a Zergling, but yeah, the creep tumor came down anyways, so a lot of what you do with that Reaper there is not really super crazy. As you will see the Zergling speed from Reynor in the main, so that gets started up. Just going to be seeing the starport from Clem in the main base, a command center on the 3rd. Not on the 3rd, but a 3rd command center. You know, if we swap the words around, we get to my point. Without the 2nd gas, so 3cc very quickly and very early on a map, which is much less likely to see a roach attack or a roach all in because of the rushing distance. So, yeah, not a bad one to go for the 1 gas 3cc. Greeded up a little bit going into this game number 2. Again, a few extra Zerglings just on the way out. The Zergling speed not far from finishing up either. The couple queens coming over, and the creep spread continue to come out into the center as well, so that's just pushing around. See an Overlord from Reynor hanging up overhead, and we do just have a couple of Marines trying to get this Overlord kill. He's actually going to get there, so that's really nice. This Overlord did not make it to this high ground. 2 Marines as a follow-up from the Reaper is obviously a little bit interesting, a little bit different. Looks like he used the barracks for high ground vision as well, so we missed a little bit of that as I'm just derping around elsewhere on the map. That's obviously a pretty cool play for Clem and Overlord early, and Reynor currently already supply blocked from that and really feeling the pain of it a little bit. 2 Hellions and a Reaper out to the right-hand side, then the Overlords will be finishing up, and Clem finally, Reynor finally out of that supply block now as Clem. Just going to be coming through. 4 Hellions in. The Reaper is... One of the Reapers will go over to that watchtower then. And the stim pack is going to be starting on the racks. There's a couple extra racks starting up in the main base, so getting those up and rolling. Reactors coming through. And again, it's just a clean play into bio. It's the same as last time, really. Hellions with the Liberator into stim pack. Very, very similar setup. Really no different at all. Biggest difference is he's not losing Hellions early. He actually goes to 5. I think he had to build 1 initially because of the barracks building 2 Marines. And this Liberator gets deflected right away. That's not an issue. In fact, the Liberator might just want to come up here. More potential to hit the main and the 3rd base. It might just go for a large loop around. But yeah, last game he obviously ended up building 8 Hellions. This time he builds 3 sets. So instead of 4 sets, it's 3 sets. And so you'll see the engineering bay as being that little bit faster. Now, this is a much faster set of Evo Chambers from Reynor as well. So the upgrades are still going to be pretty evened out here from Clem and Reynor. Reynor is still waiting to start that melee upgrade. Clem waiting to start both of his in the next few moments. Is currently just prioritizing a few medevacs to get on the map and start cleaning up some creep perhaps. That's just going to be seeing the creep continuing out through the top side. And these few Hellions will be peeling away back around over to the left. 10 more Zerglings in production. Creep spread still coming out into the center. Extractors also building up right now, as Reynor will continue to creep down this right-hand side. All of these Hellions then down to the south, and they're going to be coming in towards that third base. Medevac's going to load up a good few Marines, and away they go. 2 Medevacs full of Marines out into the center of the map now. So away they go. And that drops down from Reynor on the third base as well. And just going to be seeing the Zerglings, etc. spreading out for the moment. We're going to be seeing a Soul Ling actually on the left-hand side is going to get picked off. A couple of drones go down as the Liberator sieges, and again, a good little bit of damage. The Zerglings wanting to come in. The Marines go. They try and cuddle these Queens. I mean, he's going to get 2 of the kills. He loses 1 Medevac. Obviously, full links around. He lifts and leaves as he starts to have very few units left. Not too sure if that was so worthwhile. 2 Queens, not even that many Lings, and obviously lost all of his Hellions. Clem loses quite a bit there to start. Well, 1 more Medevac coming in to reinforce. I mean, that's the difference, right? If you still have 3 Medevacs and, you know, basically full of units, now these pure Zerglings are actually in some trouble. 2 Medevacs units just don't really do much against pure Ling. You know, with 3 Medevacs, you're probably forcing Banelings, but now you're not forcing Banelings. Reynor has that little bit of freedom to actually just go full on into the Spire place. He's going to have extra gas to spend on Mutalisks, and that obviously is a good power up. The longer you can go without building those Banes initially, the better. Nice unburrow on the Widowmine. It does mean that he can jump in on this and get the Widowmine with the rest of the Zerglings just afterwards, though. So 1 Widowmine in this corner. He's just kind of like baiting Reynor, and he's like, "Come on, buddy, you want to come in here? Come cuddle up in Clem corner and see what my Widowmine has to say." A few Banes starting now, because obviously another couple Medevacs might come across with units, and that's where it gets troubling. Nice split. That was 1 Zergling, by the way, and it's also a save on the Widowmine. We're seeing some really crazy micro out of these guys here today. Not sure actually what ended up happening to the Liberator, but it went down without dealing too much. I guess the Spore, so it looks like the Spore Caller got the kill in amongst all of this other pressure going on. So not as an effective a Liberator in Game 2 as what we had in Game number 1. Clem still just trying to get a unit here or a unit there, and he forces a transfusion, but not much more. Oh, that Widowmine's so close to finishing its cooldown, but it will not be in time. At the same time, pushing the right-hand side and start to progress through some of this creep spread that Reynor has been investing his time into. It's kind of a shame to leave that active tumor up, though, of course, because that's a whole extra scan to just get rid of something that will then continue to spread. So a little bit of a shame as we're going to be seeing the Overseer. Does go down. Rest of these Lings running through. Marines jumping up into the Medevacs. Mine's going off on a good few Zerglings. We see these units from Clem unloading onto the natural expansion. A couple of Mutalisks coming over. The Banes coming through as well. The Medevacs will have to lift up. Rest of these Marines, well, it's a good connection from the Baneling, able to do pretty well. As the rest of the Ling Banes still coming through. The Banes still crashing into all of this. The Mutalisks, though, obviously starting to kill off dropships, and that means that Clem is running out of Medevacs, and he's running out fast. So he has to keep on running away as the Mutalisks come through. That Medevac will go down. Full cleanup across the board because this Medevac in the main doesn't exactly have much life left on it. Once these Mutas start coming through to clean it out, I mean, Clem's basically going to unload Marines here and hope he can get something. He very nearly does get a Mutalisk, but well, where are the rest of the Mutas? There they are, coming in now. And that is a cleanup. Reynor in much better control of this game than he was the last game. He's on 93 drones. His economy is really bouncing. I have to say, I didn't realize this, but Clem's 2-2 upgrades are also very far behind, so he hasn't had that armory, or he hasn't sought those upgrades in a timely manner, and that's definitely expensive. Widowmine gets a ton of Zerglings, mind you, 14. Widowmines in general do very well there. No Overseer to follow up, but these Marines and Medevacs are now chased down by Lings and Mutas. As reinforcements come out, this army of Clem triples in size, and Reynor's like, yeah, I'm going to get out of there. Still no Overseer, mind you, coming forwards now, but the army might be here to actually protect those Widowmines, so that's really nice. Clem's going to start up this fight once again. Reynor is starting to find himself some time, though, and with that time, he's going to start setting up run-bys down towards this third base, drop down these depots, and try and get in towards the mineral line for some damage. It's the sort of thing that takes up some of Clem's attention and stops Clem just resetting into consistently fighting towards the 4th and 5th bases of Reynor. He's actually going to bring the Mutas along with this as well. If he can save the Banelings until he gets through the depots, even better, because then, of course, he can just use the Banes on Marines or on SCVs. Big Widowmine shot to start this fight off again. Widowmines! Oh my god! Of the Banelings, what the heck just happened? First of all, the Widowmines get the most amazing connections I've seen Widowmines get in a row in a long time. But then just a handful of Banes made it to the Marines, and that forces Clem to lift off and back away. Oh, he was so close there, Clem, to just getting rid of all the Banes, and then he would have had a real good fight on his hands. Reynor had to rebuild a lot off of that. But obviously, once you do let those Banelings touch your Marines, well, it ain't a fun time. As Mutas go counter-attacking into the third, jumping into the main, trying to keep this game a bit chaotic and trying to slow Clem down now. Picking off reinforcements, a couple of thoughts coming out, and that's the sort of thing you need to really stop this middle-list count in these higher numbers. So many SCVs falling, those 16 down already, and those Thors, if there's one thing Thors can't do, is move around very quickly. As Clem actually started Neosteel Frame, he actually started armor on one engineering bay and then fixed it to attacks. I wonder if he really wants Neosteel Frame as a priority over +3 armor. That's a very interesting concept. That's, wow. Increases building armor, obviously, so it makes you that much stronger with your structures against, like, run-bys. Is that worth it over +3 armor? Because the only thing that's making me think is because he started armor upgrade on this engineering bay, cancelled it, and went to attack. Otherwise, I would have just been convinced that this was a misclick almost. Now, not so much as these Marines fighting in the main. Zergling's going down. You're going to see the rest of this army from Clem coming up to the top side. Maxed out again, by the way. 70 workers here. Obviously, he's been trading effectively and efficiently, and that's how these games generally do go. Now he's getting some drone kills, bringing Reynor down from that 90 drone count. The drop in the main successful then, and we'll get a Mutalist just before it's done. Meanwhile, the Mutalists, and sorry, not even the Mutalists, sorry, the Lings and Banes go towards the 5th base of Clem and stop him from getting that up. But Reynor's starting to give up this base on the low ground. Now, he has a new base to the far right-hand side, but that's really starting to stretch out his positions and really giving Clem what he wants, which is multiple bases to attack into, multiple points on the map he can deal really meaningful damage. And right now, this push of Clem is not being stopped. Reynor needs a big fight, and this is it. Lings and Banes on the top. No units on the low ground, so he's just going to try and clean up the high ground first, protect this mineral line, and keep this hatchery rolling. Mutalists are back across the map once more, still attacking and still trying to find damage, but not able to just yet, as we're going to be seeing a few extra Banes morphing in, and Reynor will need those, because this round of Banes is already being used up against some very good splits. A Thor tanking damage, Widowmine cleans up. Mutalists are going to find this 5th base, and that looks as though it will go down. So that's going to get picked off in a couple of moments. Still this Bioforce coming in on the top side. Ling Bane rolling through, connecting on anything it can reach. Concussive shells, slowing some of those connections. Clem will be pushed back from the top. But boy, has Reynor paid the price. The Widowmine gets 15 kills and makes that 10 more. Widowmines are having an MVP effort game right now. They are just killing so much every single fight. And right now, Reynor's not spending his money. He is out of lava with 1,500 minerals in the bank. So he is in some trouble here, quite frankly. As Clem comes pushing forwards again, up 40 army supply. And Reynor might not be able to keep this going. He might not be able to keep this going. The Bioforce back over the left-hand side. Mutalist from Reynor over to the far right. 3-3, well, would have been finished. But again, he went Neosteel armor instead of the 3 armor. Again, was that meant to happen? Like, I can't even get the words out because I'm still not sure. Mutalist towards the 3rd base, then a few units from these medevacs unloading in the front. Bioforces of Clem continuing to press forwards here as Mutalist will go into the main. A couple of Widowmines setting up, and we will see a missile turret taken down as well. A few SCVs still in some trouble too. Medevacs coming forwards and going in after a Queen. These Mutas coming, and all of these SCVs being picked off, so 7 workers going down. Going to see a couple of Marines continuing over, and on the right-hand side, a couple of Bane connections doing very nicely as well. Reynor has been able to spend his money to max out once again then, but the problem is he's still very much so stuck on the tech he's been stuck on all game long, and that's oftentimes an issue with Ling Bane Muta when you're not able to really, you know, solidify position in the game. The Terran continues to attack you time and time again. The one thing, though, is that Clem is struggling to get a 5th base, so hold on a little while longer, and maybe that's when Reynor will be able to really kind of break through and stop Clem rebuilding as quickly, and that's maybe when Clem has to slow down and really focus on protecting bases rather than attacking the bases of Reynor. Mutalisks are just going to dive in for the command center, which will go down. A little bit of bio coming out down the ramp here, and reinforcements out from the main base. And Reynor's only on 5 bases of his own, so you should be able to hold with 4 bases as Clem. Like, this should still be okay as long as you keep this on 5 bases. The only minor factor is that this was a base, and now this is a base, so it's more than just 5 bases overall. It has been, like, 6 bases, even if it's not 6 bases now, right? So that makes a difference, as we're going to be seeing a hatchery out down in the center. We're going to be seeing more of this Bioforce repositioning. Looks as though we might have a movement down to try and protect this command center. Like I said, might be time for Clem to slow it down a little bit just to get this base up and running and then go from there. Still no +3 armor. The longer that's a thing for, the more I think that this may just be a mistake on the building armor upgrade, and instead maybe would have wanted instead to be on a on the infantry armor. So the game calms down for what feels like the first time in 10 minutes or so. These guys have just not stopped going at each other's throats. It has actually just been endless here as the bio of Clem pushes up. Couple creep tumors going down. Big swarm of Reynor to the left-hand side. This planetary fortress probably dead. But this right side base of Reynor, if that goes down as well, I mean, it's a base for a base, and a base while Clem just got a new one already up and running. Obviously, a fresher base definitely helps Clem out a lot. So Reynor gets this base, Clem gets this base. Reynor doesn't even fight the units over on this side. So Reynor's reset to 4 bases at the moment as the Lings and the Mutalisks unable to get up this ramp. Still the rest of the bio pressing forwards. Creep tumors going down. The Mutalisks and the Zerglings picking away through the command center here. The rest of the Marines pressing forwards from Clem as well. So all of this coming through as you will see Reynor just takes a round of, well, wouldn't mind to the face on the Zerglings. 131 to 97 army supply. Reynor is not maxed out. Not only is he going to be struggling on economy, he's only got 5 bases or 5 hatcheries. So even lava is a struggle for him consistently that he's still playing Ling Bane pretty much purely, right? He's never had to build ultras. And when you never build ultras, you never have like big investments of your bank into low lava counts. You know, it only takes 1 lava to take up so many resources compared to like for the same resources like 8, 6, I don't know how many lava, but a lot more, right? So it's a very lava intensive style, and that's why Reynor, I mean, losing bases after bases definitely ain't helping either. The Thor splash damage, kind of insane, and we'll just get 1 Mutalisk there, but is boosting forwards to chase, gets the second Mutalisk. This base cancels already. Depots actually aren't raised, but the army is there to deflect the Zergling, so it's not a good fight for Reynor to commit into, so he will not. Just gonna see this slow Marine picking off drones. This game has had absolutely everything. As the Bioforce is back around into the center of the watchtower, being taken. A bit more army around the bottom side from Clem here as well. You can see a Widowmine blows up, a few more Mutalisks, so again, good damage being dealt. I'm just going to be seeing the rest of these Mutas back up this right-hand side. Bioforce still pressing forwards, a couple of creep tumors going down as well. The Banes will continue to roll on in. Widowmine's already going off. The Bioforce will continue to press into this as well. Adrenal Gland's going to be coming through. That'll be finished up very shortly. Overseer gets taken down. And again, this army of Reynor continues to roll through. Lings and Banes are plenty right now. As we're going to see the Bioforce turns back around. Zerglings still wanting to move into this as well. Widowmine's all over the place as these Zerglings keep running through. Chase with the Mutalisks. Meanwhile, there's an army on the top side, and Clem will push with this. But Reynor is able to chase Clem away. And he chases him away, allowing him to keep this base for a little while longer. And while Reynor's losing control on the right side, he's establishing some control on the left. The biggest issue, I think, for Reynor, though, is that Clem didn't just claim this base, he claimed the 6 o'clock base, too. And that's a major, major deal. Because not, you know, while Clem lost the left-hand side of the map, he got 2 bases in doing it. I mean, that's why typically you take these bases initially, because if you're working on the bottom side, you get 2 bases at once. Now, of course, Clem was like, well, I'm fighting a lot on the top side of the map, so I'll take this base here instead. Gets so much of that mined out, and now has both bases on the bottom, and even looking to take the bottom right bases too. And this is where it gets a bit funky, because of course now he is further away when he's defending these bases from pushing into Reynor, but obviously he's getting those bases up. His +3 armor really not far from finishing either. Here is a bit more bio coming across. Command center wanting to land down in the next couple of moments. Bane's rolling in over here. A lot of SCVs going down. Marines splitting up. Doing a fantastic job as a Widowmine, trying to find a target, but will not find much at all. Command center morphing into a planetary. Well, that will have to cancel and lift off as well. Still some madness right here as the Mutalisks starting to harass, and honestly, Reynor's back in. I honestly thought Reynor was starting to die off a bit in this game. If you look at this now, I don't mind his position. 21 minutes of awesome here on Eternal Empire. Just absolute amazing StarCraft 2 ESL Open Cup Grand Finals of Week 13 here on the European server, and these guys are absolutely delivering. Reynor around the left as Mutalisks will fly through. We're going to see this command center already in a lot of trouble. It will start to burn, and it will just be shot down. So that will fall. Oops, a couple of Widow Mines up in this topside base. Gets 10 drones. I mean, 10 drones is kind of serious at this point. You don't have the minerals to just instantly rebuild 10 workers. And, you know, it's a serious loss on the economy. The +3 plate and finishes. Oh my god. Reynol's just like, oh my god, denied the upgrade. No, it actually finished up. Clem, that's great for him. Widow Mine gets a shot. Thor on this right-hand side, helping to deny a base and stop this up as well, as we're going to be seeing more Marines still in production too. Clem will continue his way up the left-hand side. More Zerglings making their way across, thinking maybe about what they want to do here. The Bio will be pulling back. Lings and Veins able to grab a couple Marines. It does feel like we're taking a bit of a breather from the action, because these guys, again, have been going at it for the entire game. Since like the 7-minute mark, there's only been like a couple pauses. Look at that resources lost though, 44,000 to the 30,000. Look at Reynor's average APM, 600. Against 400 of Clem is pretty sick. Obviously, macro mechanics change up a little bit how theirs work as Lings and Banes rolling through here. Widow Mine starting to go off. A lot of bio from this right-hand side. Some extra Widow Mines burrowing, and Clem will hold to push Reynor back in this position. So Reynor does have to pull away. Back up to the top. Meanwhile, the Mutalists will once again launch a counter-attack, trying to make their way down to the bottom right-hand side. A Widow Mine that will just hit an Overseer initially. And now a Widow Mine that's being eaten by a couple of initial Zerglings. I mean, it's just crazy that these guys for 20 minutes have been back and forth on either side of the map. Now these Mutas coming around here. If Clem gets these bases, it really is almost game over, though, I feel, for Reynor. Because if you get these bases up, the economy you have for the rest of this game is just crazy. And yeah, the Zergs got the bases too, but the Terran's been trading so much better, and the whole point of this style of the Zerg is you're meant to be able to stop the Terran's economy, halt it in its tracks, and really slow that down a little bit. Obviously, that hasn't happened as Mutalisks onto this bottom side. Missile turrets firing. A lot of these Mutas look as though they're going down. A few Marines stimming across. As the Mutas will have to back away. A few changes dropping down. Mutas. Oh my god, Mutas are trapped. It's a Terran surround, and he's parting as these Mutalisks get pushed away through the right. Oh, Reynor just lost so many of his Mutas. And just in case this game wasn't already starting to take a couple bad turns, that's an even worse turn because it takes away one of his real options to deal with the Terran's army. Oh, that's such a shame, as well as now Clem's bio army out up the left-hand side. A few Widow Mines setting up. Going to see this Queen already going down. A couple Creep Tumors being picked off. A lot of these Widow Mines setting up at the moment as Zerglings still coming back through. Widow Mine connects, a few of these Lings going down. Bioforce continues to press forwards. On the bottom side, Lings trying to find a way to run by. And Bermuda's also thinking about what they can do as well. Marines still pressing through. The Banon's connecting in. The Ling run by. I mean, this is an orbital down here, by the way, so not a planetary fortress. Can't fend for itself. The Ling run by typically shouldn't be great on that base, but again, for whatever reason, it's an orbital. Clem will stem some units across, but 15 SCVs already down. Meanwhile, Banes are still trying to set up Widow Mines and engage on the front line of Bio. Over on the top left-hand side, Clem splits backwards. The Mutalist taking some of the damage here, but I think that's a lift and leave from Clem. He just can't stick around long enough to really keep fighting. Now, Clem's still got money in the bank. Orbital Command still in the center. So many bases around here for Clem. Again, what will be crazy is that both these players have already mined a bit from these bases. And that's the issue overall, right? Overall, you're never getting a base as Reynor, which is going to be a base Clem doesn't have. And because of that, being, what? I can't even do the math. 17,000, 18,000 resources lost behind. Like, you just can't be on the same number of bases. Reynor's going to try, and he basically needs like a really good fight to then just overwhelm the Terran before the rebuild can happen. He's just going to keep pushing through here, but he's running out of Banelings. The Mutalists have already taken a lot of hits. Clem will go running, try and get into a choke. Reynor will finally turn back around as the base is trying to come in at the same time. Widow Mines on this ramp. You can't push up there as Reynor. Clem's reinforcements ready to pounce. Reynor reintroducing a whole bunch more Zerglings. Mutalists on the way as well. Missile turrets already firing onto these Mutas, dealing a lot of damage. Bio still into the middle of the map, pushing over this left-hand side. Command center lifting. Clem will land it, and if he solidifies this base, now he's going to be a base up over Reynor, which is obviously just crazy as well. Zerglings on their own fighting here. Reynor will just force Clem to lift, but then Clem drops back down. If this is only Zerglings, Clem just says he's going to fight it. Widowmine's all over the place. Don't know what they're going to connect on. Zergling's all over. Muta's flying in to try and fight from Reynor as well. But I just don't know if there's much left over. The Thor microphone back. Low HP. Reynor's going to start cleaning out. But of course, Clem's reinforcements will be a force to be reckoned with because there's barely anything left here for Reynor right now. Trying to grab a Marauder. Trying to take advantage of some lack of anti-air here. Widowmine's still cleaning up units. The Thor drops back down. Picks up once more. The last Baneling or two gets used up. And now Reynor has to go running again. And he just doesn't have the numbers, the economy, the lava, or anything. Clem takes a 26-minute Game 2 map of the freaking month. What was that? Apart from the best StarCraft I've seen in a while. And I've watched a hell of a lot of StarCraft. My God, that was incredible. Well, I mean, if game number 3 can live up to game number 2, then we are in for a hell of a treat, guys. Let's get this underway. As in the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran player up 2-0 in this best of 5. This is Clem. In the bottom left, we do have our red Zerg representing Clash down 0-2 Reynor. Now, we had a grand final between Reynor and Clem in my tournament the other day. Which was actually just it was a series. It was a great final, but it started with Clem going up 3-0 in very similar games to what we're seeing. And Reynor did draw back a couple of maps in a row. Let's see if you can do that from this 2-0 deficit right here, starting up on Golden Wall. Just a couple of shout outs then. I said I wasn't going to do many of these in game, but just as this game's just starting up and we went straight into this from the break. Thank you so much, Camox ST2 for the 14-month Twitch Prime resub. Welcome back, Flubs, for the 1 year. Thank you so much. Pablo's Cruz and Grossheiken, thank you so much for your Twitch Primes, new and ready to round. Go on the channel, welcome. And Hebrew Flavin with the 100 bits as well. Thank you so much with the PogChamp. Thank you so much, guys, for the support. If you guys are enjoying, hit that follow button. Hi, I'm Wardia, cast StarCraft 2 a lot. You can see more of what you're seeing here in the future on the channel as well. If you like what you're seeing. And of course, if you're really enjoying and want to support, do consider dropping your Twitch Prime on the channel, subscribing. Probably one of the best ways to support what I do. Game number 3 then, best of 5. And this is match point now from Clem. Reynor was meant to go 3 wins in a row this weekend. He is being blocked by Clem in this finals right now. Reynor's 4th finals in a row. And again, he's getting to that level of being Big Gabe-esque in these events. But right now, if Clem plays like this every week, I mean, it might be the little Clem weekly a couple of weeks from now. Who even knows? As we do see the Reaper coming back over towards the natural expansion. Couple of queens continue to build. Lings in some trouble as a drone or two getting popped up into the sky. And just going to be seeing the Zerglings taking a little bit of damage here. So obviously back to the reset, the restart of the game. And well, I mean, I'm just still kind of flabbergasted at 26 minutes of Eternal Empire. Now, Clem does open here, worth noting that he takes the minerals mined out, so he'll expand on the bottom side. And he can take a gold-based third here without the gas. So there's a couple of opportunities or a couple of options for you there, basically. It's pretty nice because, in general, if you push through this bottom side, you can get a siege on the main tank, drop into the main. And obviously, there's just very few ways to deal with those siege tanks. As you do get this up and running, just going to see the Reaper moving around a little bit. And Queen with the Zerglings is going to be coming through this. Reaper taking a lot of damage at the moment. And it's just going to be seeing the Hellions continuing to build. So a couple of Hellions popping out. Tech Lab finishing on the barracks. And the starport will be done in the main to start up a Viking this time. So he's been very Liberator focused. A Viking's not a bad idea. Clean out Overlords on a map where, not that Reynor's the most Nidus-y kind of guy, but Nidus are pretty good because they give you mobility from the top half to the bottom half of the map, and can definitely be one of the more frustrating things to play against. So I don't mind the Viking. It could even be a second starport unit as a follow-up from there as well, of course, right? You can go into a Liberator once the Viking is done. You might just go and, you know, start up your extra barracks already. I mean, it looks like that's the plan on 4 Hellions, so very different game. And I guess the idea is here just 4 Hellions because there's not really a lot of pressure that Reynor's going to do unless he mines these minerals out. But there's already a wall off up from Clem. And yeah, I mean, what's Reynor going to do to run units at Clem right now? So what do you need more than 4 Hellions for? Maybe a bit more pressure around this top side. But not really going to commit. You know, again, like, you can get away with less. And that's why I guess a Viking a bit cheaper. finishes a bit faster than a Liberator, and then you can get the racks down faster and still onto those reactors. And then you go into like the starport play and the medevac drop that little bit quicker as well, of course. I was just going to be seeing a couple of Hellions around the bottom side. Lair is about halfway done, so this time it's a different approach from Reynor as well. Lair earlier in the game and then into a Baneling Nest early, so a faster Baneling speed. Also typically then a faster Lair tech choice as well, and later Evolution Chambers, later double upgrades. So this time Clem should have upgrade timing windows, but will he be able to make use of them based on, Reynor having the faster Banelings, of course, and then, of course, as well, the fact he'll have the faster tech choice, which should also be able to help out a little bit on all of that as well. A few Overlords on the way up here then from Reynor. Baneling Nest is dropping down in the back of the natural. And we do see the Viking already pushing this Overlord through a little bit in towards the main base. So getting that up and running as a Spire is dropping down in the back of the third base here from Reynor as well. So gets that Spire up and rolling. And again, the Overlord just continue to build. Baneling Nest dropping down the Baneling speed. And we will just see the Spire. Cool. So that's where we're at. And Clem does take this gold base. No gas available here. So very mineral focused build. Again, may be very much so focused around just pushing and never stopping. If you only got 4 gases, I mean, my assumption is you go up to 8 racks and you just attack. That said, if you're going up to 8 racks and just attacking, you are attacking just through this bottom side of the map, which can be a bit interesting. Now, we have a good amount of Marines already moving over, and the tanks are coming along as well. So, well, I say tanks, there's 1 tank coming over, the second tank still in production. So, here we go with this push in this position that is definitely difficult to kind of deal with. If you get the tank down on this low ground, I mean, it's the sort of thing that meters help with a little bit, because they should be able to stop the medevacs and lifting the units over all of the time. You still got a few moments to wait for the mutalists to come out here, but this aggression should be limited. And of course, because Clem's so focused on the bottom of the map, we've got all the creep in the center of the map on the top side that Clem just doesn't care about. So Reynor's just going to keep spreading that. And if it comes around to Clem pushing the top side of the map at some stage of this game, well, then there's going to be a lot of creep for him to push against, which of course could absolutely hurt, as we're going to be seeing the, well, tank still dealing some damage, but again, this is where these mutalists start coming into play and being that bit more powerful. Because again, if these medevacs try and come over again, Reynor's going to jump on him, and okay, he can't actually get the kills just then, but he is able to stop the medevacs from dropping over, right? So there's a nice little something. This tank actually comes quite far back, as we're going to see Lings going across the map, and I wonder, do you Bane bust through into the main base? I mean, it is something you've got to be aware of as Clem, right? The possibility of, Banelings coming through here and busting this down. And that's exactly what Reynor wants to do. That's why Clem leaves his Reaper on this, top half the map natural expansion. Because that's exactly the sort of position where, you're going to spot these Banes and then you can react to it. Edge has a lot of reinforcements down on the naturals, so he will be able to pull those up. And this attack on the top side shouldn't do too much. And these middle lists, he's going to lose 1. The medevacs are very low, though. Clem is dropping a mule. He's trying to mine out the minerals here. He wants access into the main base more easily. Takes 2 mules, 1 on the first row of patches, 1 on the next. As these Lings and Banes reveal themselves, tank moving up, Marines slipping forwards. Clem drop a second mule, not while the mutalists are in position. He took the opportunity of that while there was nothing there that could pick a mule off quickly. Has to wait for another chances. People will just rebuild, and again, these Lings are not going to do anything. But of course, in all of this time, Reynor is building up to base number 5 at this point, right? Like, he's already going to his 5th base. So that's already starting up on the upper left side of the map. Drops down another mule. Can he get that to... Well, he wants to mine this mineral patch here, and he's got to get the Marines forwards, and... Oh, the mutalists get it! So the mule doesn't mine. Wow, the mutalists deny it. I mean, Reynor knows the issue. Because as soon as these Marines can run up here, it's an amazing spot. Because then they don't have to lift up via the medevacs. Clem will try again. Is Reynor paying attention? Mutalists need to go for this. The mule sniped down again. It costs him a Mutalist this time, though. This is probably like the weirdest. If you told me like 3 months ago we were going to see a battle of Mutalists versus mules trying to mine a way through for the Terran army to attack, I'd call you crazy. Yet here we are on Golden Wall, where it's just an everyday occurrence. So again, just going to see this attack coming in. Clem, I see tanks, a few Marines moving through as well. It's a lot of units this time around, so got to be careful of this. Clem just reinforced a lot of units across the map, so has to be kind of worried about this, I imagine. I mean, that's a lot of Lings coming through, and well, these Marines going to be able to hold on. He brought a lot of Marines back from across the map as well, but they're already kind of low, so has to be careful with those as well. 8 SCVs go down. The next attempt to mine this. Oh, no way. I mean, in a way, he's trading the mule for a Mutalisk every time, which, is that a good trade? Like, is that a trade you're happy to take? I mean, apparently so. I mean, obviously, the benefits of actually making this work would be great. Now he's got a Thor here. Surely now this Thor is able to scare the Mutalisk away, and Clem will finally gain access to the main base. Can we buff mule mining time? It just takes mules too long to get minerals into their arms. Ling Vane going to come up this ramp once again. Lots of Marines here. It's a new wall to bust. Marines coming forwards, and the bust actually isn't there just yet. We'll make it through eventually. A lot of meters going across the map, and Clem going to start losing units on the goal, but he is in the main base, which Reynor has just given up on. Clem with the 4th base down in position as well. A lot of these Banelings going down. 17 SCVs, though. I mean, again, Clem gives up the... Reynor gives up the main, but Reynor gives up a main, and maybe even the natural. Is he just going to full-on base trade? I mean, if you give up the natural, you're just on 3 bases, and... Well, he does clean out the gold, so... But, I mean, resetting to 3 base on 3 bases, it's not good for the Zerg. Right? Like, you're meant to be up a base, you know, it's the age-old saying, but it really is true in a, you know, a game like this where resources lost is Terran favored. You're meant to be up bases, not down bases or equal on bases. He still has 87 drones with 39 SCVs, so he's up a lot of economy as he's just trying to find a way. And it's so weird because how does Clem actually close this game out? I mean, I think that's a very good question as well. Clem's now... In what game do you see someone push through the bottom side of the map and then loop around to push from the Zerg's main and natural towards their 3rd? I have no idea. This is a bit messy, though. These Marines out too far forwards. A lot of them going down. The issue is for Clem, it's such a long reinforcement path to ever reinforce this army. As he sets up this planetary bottom sides, he's very safe there. Couple turrets. Mutalisk count is still very high, and Clem just has units everywhere looking to hold on and defend. Bringing these siege tanks across, you can actually hit this this extractor from the base over here. So that's a benefit. That is something that can be utilized right now, is we're just trying to find an opening. A few Lings and Banes giving themselves to try and break this position. There's only so many Marines left, so these mutas should be able to make a cleanup in a moment or two. Nice scan, and he's going to get some drones. No, the drones pull away. Meanwhile, Reynor continues to expand along the top side of the map. Clem's still only on the 3 bases, not moving it up to a 4th command center yet. All rebuilding from that. A couple of Marine drops on this top side. Going to find an Overlord or 2 and drones. Reynor's not realizing, well, okay, he's bringing Lings across just here in time to support, as we do see these Marines loading up into medevacs. Boost, Marines, boost. Okay, gonna have to unload, and the Mutalisk will have to find something here as well. Meanwhile, Clem, through the bottom side, middle of the map, is now coming across and reinforcing his siege tanks over here. So he still has this splash damage in play. A few Marines already moving to the high ground. Lings and Bane's gonna come running forwards. Tank fire is good here initially as well, as we do see a bunch more Marines being built. Mutalisk from Reynor on the right-hand side, and the Marines trying to find out where they can end up. The tank fire, great once again. A lot of units going down, plus 3 attack upgrade on the engineering bay starting as well. I mean, we're getting to that point where Reynor is still kind of stuck on Ling Bane Muta, but obviously in a much better economic position this time around, so it might just be okay compared to what we saw in Eternal Empire. But I did feel like that economic position was something that he was, losing because of. This time Clem on a much lower work account is... I mean, he still feels like Clem's almost just all in off the 3 bases that are currently set up. Missile turrets buy a little bit of time for Marines to come stimming across. I mean, I feel like there's just Marines having to stim everywhere with the way that this map is set up. They're just having to move all over the place all of the time. You're just getting picked off here as the Marines able to take a bunch down. You're just now going to move in towards the main, just going to go in, and a couple of SCVs going to get picked away at as well. So 7 workers drop down pretty much immediately. The rest of these Mutalisk and Reynor back out towards the top. Sensor tower goes down, and still have the rest of these Marines continue to come through. Queen gets picked up, and I mean, Clem's still making this push across this side of the map look terrifying. Reynor, does he have enough at any point to fight? I mean, I definitely feel like you can break this down and kind of fight this off now. There's just not much here. Well, the medevacs are coming across on their own, and they just get intercepted, so Clem loses those. I mean, now Clem's making a push up to the top, though. I mean, this is barely anything left over. Not sure why the medevacs went on their own. Like, I can understand wanting to save the medevacs, because there's not many Marines here, but it wasn't the safest way to do it, right? Clem a large push into the center of the map, which is obviously covered in creep. We talked about that earlier. Clem's not focusing on the top side of the map, so the creep spread is out of control. couple more units going down as we do see these few drones have to go pull away into the top right-hand corner. Marines are going to go picking away at this hatchery. +3 attack about to finish gives Clem an upgrade advantage, but the Mutalisk count on this bottom side is obviously terrifying and flying its way down towards this planetary fortress. New missile turret, not sure if it even makes a difference. The Marines are the scary part of this, but even then the Mutalisk count will just dive in on this, but it costs them a lot of... Okay, I don't like this. Target fire and the repairing missile turret with Marines underneath you. Reynor just lost a lot of Mutalisks here. A lot of Mutalisks go down. Missile turret firing and the Mutalisks taking some heavy damage as they move in toward the main base. And now going to come around and go after that command center as more Marines and tanks around the top part of the map. What's going on? The CC will move over towards the natural as well, so that's a base I didn't even think about Clem taking, but obviously it's fairly safe to take. So Clem's going to get new bases up, denying the bases of Reynor, which, I mean, we haven't really looked much at this top side of the map because obviously it's been so much on the bottom. Oh, all of Reynor's drones in the top right going down. Well, that's a base that's obviously very exposed to drops, etc. This planetary will just die. A lot of SCVs from Clem going down as well. I think Clem's sort of happy to give up the bottom side of the map if he starts to get to the top, but he will need to take more on the top side. I mean, then again, Reynor doesn't exactly have bases left of his own, right? A very mined out third base. A fourth base that's actually well underway from being mined out. This top right base being denied. This Queen fighting a lava or a Marine. I don't know what he's fighting there. I think there is a Marine that's going down. Clem makes a way to the top left. This is the lair at this point in the game, by the way. This is the lair of Reynor, who... As Clem has 19 SCVs, this economy has been Reynor focused all this time. He's just not had enough bases to necessarily always mine from. He still has 52 drones, but what are 52 drones going to do when there's one hatchery in the game? Not a lot. I think Zamuta's looking to counterattack. There's a good army here, but then there's Banelings coming through as well. Clem obviously can't build much. He is able to fight that. I mean, has the upgrade advantage against only Zerglings quite handily. Oh, but then the Banelings come crashing through, and Clem was not paying attention. Loses a lot of Marines over here, but this is a planetary fortress. The Bane count is enough to break it down. Only just, mind you. Only just. Clem's going to pull the trigger, though. He's going to start cleaning out bases of Reynor. Reynor's actually mining from the top right. A few Banes pressing in. I mean, Reynor's in a position he has a Bane nest, but he has no spawning pool. Oh no, he has a spawn pool. He's just rebuilding a new one because he knows this one's likely to go down. More Lings and Banes in the way. I just don't think Clem's army holds on long enough to do what it needs to do here. And Reynor just retaking the natural expansion is obviously huge. And that scan from Clem confirms that base is there and gives him the reason to GG. Reynor pulls it back a map, and this series will extend to a Game 4. Enjoy. In the top left-hand side, our red Terran player still leading the series, but obviously now only a one-map advantage. In the top left, he is Clem, our Team Liquid Terran. As in the bottom right, our blue Zerg from Clash. This is Reynor. And obviously he is real good. Let me just grab a drink, because instead of drinking during the break, I managed to sell out for 2 minutes straight. Ugh. That'll do it. Kind of need them with these games looking like this. Hey, thanks so much, Doc Gripper, for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it. Alrighty, guys. Good Game 4. Hit 6K viewers. It's possible. Let's do it. Let's have it. Let's have at it. I believe. Couple of racks dropping down, so it's not a proxy racks, it's a 2 racks Reaper from Clem's natural expansion, so looking to apply some pressure. It always interests me when Terrans do this on the top left spawn, because your add-ons are going to be very exposed. They react to the tech lab, and typically it's so much better if you do this on the bottom right side, because then your add-ons are not exposed, they're protected. So intrigued to see. Obviously a little bit of pressure will come in from Clem early. And then, of course, Reynor will have to defend and deal with that. And obviously, a lot of this is rather important. As you do see the Overlords moving up towards the upper side of the map. Can I just say, by the way, across all the streams in StarCraft 2 right now, all of the ESL Cup, we have over 15,000 viewers. Can we just get some hell yes, some love, some hype in the chat for StarCraft? Like, goddamn, that's insane. 15,000 viewers for the $100 weekly cup. Let's get some love up in here for StarCraft 2 in the community. As we set this up, Reaper coming down. Going in towards the natural expansion. Just start dealing a little bit of damage. Couple of drones going to be picked away at here initially. Some Zerglings pulling back behind the natural expansion. And as we're just going to be seeing the Reaper does get picked off. That's not a good start. That's not how this goes at all. Well, next Reaper coming over after three epic games. Watching a Reaper get surrounded by slowlings was not quite what I was expecting. That's kind of crazy. You see these couple of queens hanging around, and a couple of Reapers gonna pop a queen or two back initially. 3 CC behind this, so obviously losing a Reaper is kind of a big deal. But look at the amount of lings Reynor made. When ling speed comes up, I mean, that's where Clem's just gonna have to be careful back at home. There's only so long you can stick out here with these Reapers. As we're just gonna see these few queens gonna be getting bopped backwards a little bit. A few Zerglings from Reynor coming out onto the map and seeing what they can get done, obviously, with the ling speed. He's gonna go for a Bane Bust. So dropping the Baneling Nest down, Reynor just gonna go straight up aggressive against this. Okay, well, there's a couple of Reapers just hopping up in towards the main base to start. Tech Lab and a reactor on the barracks here initially. This is what I mean. These add-ons are exposed, right? So it's pretty rough. Ling's going to show themselves. The Reaper's out here to deal some damage. Ling's on the right side as well. These Reapers need to pull back. They can't get surrounded, and they will not. I mean, when the Banes bust down the supply depot, you need a secondary wall. The reactor already going down. Like I say, it's a frustrating side of the map to do this on. Bane's coming in. Can Reynor bust through this front position? Coming back around. Just going to be seeing the Reapers. Well, they're actually going to see some of the Banes. He's going to start hitting them. Nice Reaper grenade. Oh, well, 4 Banelings left. Is that enough? SCVs are going to try, and he gets the Engineering Bay. Oh, but there's a gap on the bottom side. There's no secondary wall off. The Lings are through into the main base. Oh, my God. We're going to be seeing a lot of SCVs going down here, as that is going to be a bit of a disaster. All of these SCVs in a lot of trouble. So many workers going down, and Clem is going to be taken to a game 5, it would seem, as Reynor streams into the main base. 20 workers and counting, continuing to drop down. GG, and we are going to a game number 5. 5 is also truly epic. In the bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player was up 2-0, and now tied up 2-2. Our red Terran from Team Liquid is Clem. Top right-hand side, the blue Zerg from Clash is Reynor. To set this up and we get this underway. Game 5 of the best of 5 series. Final map of StarCraft here today, guys. Let's have it. Let's just enjoy this epic finale as the Overlord moves down. And we're gonna, you know, what better way to end an epic 5-game series than with the proxy racks scouted straight away. Spawning pool first. Oh no, it's all gone wrong for Clem. Man, 2 games ago we were talking about 2 games ago we were talking about Reynor's in trouble. Reynor ain't having a good time. Reynor, you know, he's losing his streak of winning these cups. And now what a start he has in a 5th and final game to maybe just win this out, as we're going to be seeing the well, racks continue to come on down here at the moment. Going to be seeing the first Rax has to cancel, so he'll just go 1 Rax committed at the moment. And it will just be a single Marine because he doesn't have the gas to build a Reaper or anything along those lines. Again, a few Zerglings coming up. Queen's getting going as well. Marine on the way out. Orbital Command in the main base. You can see this Marine pulling back down through the center. And now a Reaper to follow up. Now, obviously not the greatest scenario here for Clem. Definitely not what yes, not the best start, but it's somewhat recoverable. Like, I'm trying to give this series game 5 hope a little bit here, guys. But it is fairly recoverable here, I would say, all right? We got ourselves a Reaper going to be popping out. They're going to be moving in towards the upper right-hand side. You know, this Rax can come home. Lings across the map, though. That's going to be a big issue. I didn't see these coming across. Apologies. Well, 6 Lings on towards that command center already. Now, if you have to cancel the CC, that might just be GG. And he is going to have to cancel it. That's so brutal. That's so much more of a delay that you really can't afford, right? That's tough. That's a good play by Reynor coming around this side. And even now, this SCV probably goes down as well. It's just alive. Just about as a few Zerglings coming back around. See what can happen. A Reaper coming through. A couple Lings getting picked away at here. These Zerglings continue to come through at the moment. And that Reaper has to run. It just gets there. And the CC will continue to rebuild. Clem actually building another Marine back at home. Can Reynor just roach attack or something from this position? Probably, but he can also just get into a very strong economic, macro-focused game, of course. As we're going to be seeing the third hatchery on this right-hand side. Starport in the main base from Clem, so again, obviously, he's going to try and somewhat recover from this, but even the factory has to build its own reactor, right? So even the Hellions get delayed in the setup here as well. It's such a difficult position to play out of right now. It's such a difficult position. It really, really is. Oh, this is brutal. Reaper and a Marine over in the natural. So you do see the Rax coming back towards the bottom left. Couple command centers building up from Clem. So he's just going to go 3 CCs and try and play defensive and get set up. But there's the roach run from Reynor. So yeah, maybe he was drawn up for a little bit, but honestly, I mean, even from a drone count of like 40 or so, building those roaches can be very good in this scenario. So let's see if he can break this down. Clem's even going to go into a fusion core, so really a little bit of like anything possible right now from Clem. 3cc, battlecruiser opening. It's so greedy. If Reynor was going to build 9 roaches here, I don't know how Clem defends the Reaper. The Zergling makes its way up. Marine will able to deflect. There's just 1 Marine, 1 Reaper, and 4 Hellions on the map. Like, there is nothing to really deflect roaches, and the BC takes so long to build. I mean, there's not even the money for a battlecruiser yet, right? So, Clem is in so much trouble. As the Reaper and a couple of Hellions gathering up in the center. Other couple of Hellions coming around as well. Seeing where they can set up too is just going to see this coming forwards. A crew team or 2 out the front. I'm going to see if a Reaper Grenade going to hit a couple of these Queens already. Roaches coming down the bottom side. These few Zerglings of Reynor just going to come in towards the natural. Gets a surround on the Hellions just in case it wasn't already going to be painful enough. And for Reynor, he's actually going to start going into Evo Chambers. Clem makes the right choice to go in towards like a Banshee. The BC is never going to be here on time, so Banshee instead will at least start to put some damage out on these roaches. But another 4 SCVs lost, right? I mean, how many more before this roach attack is done? It's not even like that many roaches, right? Like, that's the thing. There's just so few units here from Clem. 6 roaches and half of them morphing into Ravagers are going to force a complete evacuation on the natural. I mean, again, on the plus side, at least there's a Banshee to come and start targeting these down, so that's the one positive side of this. But even then, these units, they're just going to come up, and Clem's going to Reaper Grenade. He kind of lets them through. Oh, he loses the Banshee to the Corrosive Vials. That, my friends, is probably game. Now there's actually just no damage output here. Is Reynor really just going to back away from this? I feel like he just killed the Banshee. I feel like it's prime time to just keep on going. Ling's streaming across as well at the moment. I mean, yeah, I just feel like he was about to get rid of these couple of extra Hellions, and then the Ling's streaming across, obviously going to have a good time. I mean, his Hellions are still dying. Next Banshee is about to pop up. The Orbital taking damage, and Clem scanning around, seeing Reynor having 63 drones. He's going to type out GG, and from a 2-0 lead, Reynor, sorry, from a 2-0, yeah, I just all the wrong words. Sorry, guys, I'm derping. From a 2-0 lead, Clem is going to leave 3 games in a row, and Reynor picked up a lot of momentum in these last couple games, able to take it all the way to Game 5 and win it there. Reynor is your 3 times in a row champion of the ESL Open Cup Europe.